Hello friends, this is Daniel coming to you live from Tech Restore with a quick video about pinch and zoom today, and also when and when not to hit the home button or to swipe to unlock. Now if you notice, my iPad is currently unlocked, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the home screen. Now if you notice on this screen, it actually shows at the bottom, press the home button. That is exactly what it is. Back in the day, you always swipe left or right to open it, but since iOS 10 and the birth of the buttonless iPhones, you'll notice now it's press home button to open. So that's exactly what I did, but I want to touch base on that real quick because that can get kind of annoying because people keep trying to swipe left and right. It's not opening the iPhone. Now, from now on, you're going to have to hit the home button as opposed to the classic swipe to unlock. What we're going to go over today is pinch and zoom. Pinch and zoom is something you use every day. You probably don't think a lot about it, but once you have a thorough understanding of it, you understand why it is so important, why it is really handy to know how to pinch and zoom in general. So as you can see, we have some pictures here that I've used in former lessons, and we're going to go over pinch and zoom. So firstly, I'm going to select the picture. I'm going to select this one, this beautiful creek right here. So if you notice on this screen, it takes up the whole screen, and we'll talk about that later on why some have bars on the top and the bottom and some have the whole screen. Now let's say, for example, I wanted to zoom in on this rock here. Now to zoom, you can take your thumb and your forefinger with them pushed together, touch the screen together, and then just separate them. So if you notice, that zoomed in on that part right there. Now the pinch feature, I think is easiest done by taking your thumb, the exact same thing you did, except for instead of pushing them apart, you're pulling them together. So if you notice, I just pulled those together and it took the exact same thing back to the original. It's really fun. What I really like too about it is if you can't get the pinch and zoom down, there's another zoom feature that a lot of people use, and it is really good to know. On any part of any picture or any website at any time, if you want to zoom in on a part, in fact, let's pick a different picture. We're going to hit the, I want to touch the screen once, and you notice there's a back button that says moments, because that's what I'm in, moments. But it may say something different. Just know that that arrow pointing to the left will always take you back, no matter what I click on, it'll always take me back to my main library here. So we're going to take something a little bit more fun. Let's take these grapes, for example. So in the picture of this grapes, if I want to zoom in on the grapes, but I can't don't have the hand functionality or just can't get pinch and zoom down, just know that you can double tap the screen. Anywhere on the screen you want to zoom, you can double tap. So for example, that's all I did is I took any finger of your choosing, and you just touch the screen twice. I usually say about a half second in between touch, and I can zoom at any point I want. The nice part too is that when you do double tap to zoom, you will notice it locks it in place. So if I want to keep this zoom level and move about the picture, I can take my finger and touch the screen just as if I'm drawing on it. And notice it moves the whole picture to whatever part that you desire. Now, if I double tap, it goes right back to where it is. Double tap and zoom, pinch and zoom, work on all platforms. So for example, let's go into Safari. It's a very common app, and sometimes text is so small you can't read it, and this pinch and zoom and double tap zoom is going to be really handy for you. So we're going to open up Safari, and we're going to go to this really cool website called Tech Restore. Shameless plug. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, like for example, down here at the warranty, if that was too small on your screen, say you have an iPhone and it's just really small, if you just take that same finger and you tap it twice, it'll zoom it to a more readable version of it. And if you double tap it again, it'll go right back to where you started. Now with pinch and zoom, if I zoom in on it, it's the same scenario. I can go a little bit bigger, as you can see, but when I pinch it in, if I go too far, it doesn't matter. It'll always snap back to being the right level for the screen itself. So just know you can use this on a lot of different apps, and it's very handy to know. Now, coming back to pictures that we talked about, where I would explain the difference on why sometimes the screen is the full screen, like seen on this one, and then sometimes it is not. So notice on this one, it has bars on the top and bottom, of white bars on the top and bottom. That's the difference between portrait and landscape. That's another thing I should have covered in the photos one, but I thought I'd really do it on the iPad because it stands out the most, and it's really nice to know. Portrait sounds exactly like it is. A portrait of something is taken in a long rectangle style like this. So if you notice that this takes up the whole screen, however, this picture that was taken in landscape, which is also ironically a picture of a landscape, that you will see that it has bars on the top and bottom because it doesn't fit to the screen. However, on all iPads, know that you can turn the screen And this is because it does not fit on the screen itself. If I were to tilt the iPad to the left or the right, it would actually change the aspect to be landscape, and viewing the iPad on landscape is also one of my favorite ways to view it. I know that most websites are usually straight up and down in portrait mode, but I found when I use my iPad, and this is personal preference, that I do like to turn it to the side and view it in landscape mode. That be websites, text messages, emails, etc. You also find different features when you tilt things on an iPad, from mail to websites and etc. I would tilt it on the screen, but unfortunately it does cut the video off, so I cannot tilt it. But if you trust me, you will see that when you look at a picture that is in landscape and you tilt it to landscape, it'll take up the whole screen. You won't have those bars anymore. That is also why this is in 2 takes, just to have you people feel better out there. Even tech guys have problems filming videos and time to time. So, moving on, I just want to recap everything we went over today. We're going to go back to the website here to illustrate some pinch and zoom and double tap to zoom in. So for example, if I double tap over the warranty, for example, you notice it locks it in. I can take my finger and I can move this anywhere on the screen that I please while it is locked in. To send it back to the original spot, you just double tap and bring it back, and it will automatically resize itself to fit the screen perfectly. Now to pinch and zoom, you take your thumb and your finger and you just start together and then push them apart. And you will notice with pinch and zoom, you can actually zoom a lot more than just a double tap. Double tap is just a basic zoom. So keep that in mind, and to bring it back in or pinch, you start off with your fingers apart and you just bring them together. It does not have to be your thumb or your forefinger. It could be whatever finger you feel best with. A lot of people use their top 2 fingers like you're making a peace sign to actually spread out, and then bring the peace sign together to bring it back in. Personal preference, totally whatever you guys want to do. All right. At the very end here, we are going to go over next lesson, all the buttons on the iPad, what they do, why are they there, and why have I not realized this for the years I've owned my iPad. Because I know personally I had an iPad for quite a long time, and I didn't even realize that I could lock it in place or mute it with a simple flick of a switch. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we're going to hit up the iPad buttons next time. Have a great day.